Welcome to the very first in a series of daily updates from your very own Paul Singh. I'm going to try and make one short clip every day in the pursuit of finding my own voice. I feel like with video, I want to find my own voice, my own POV, and share that with you. And just by making these daily videos, I might just be able to do that. Let's see what happens. I'm going to do this whether you like it or not. What are we going to cover in the daily updates? I'm not sure yet. I've written down a bunch of ideas. I've been thinking about some ideas for what to make for YouTube videos. And I was looking at, quote. I could do like a word of the day, a redesign, rebrand series. You basically take something that kind of looks shitty. Very subjective, I know. And then you redesign that. What's it like living in downtown, small town boy perspective? What's it living to 3 subs away at 200? Yeah, I've actually now reached 99 subscribers on YouTube. It's, what's my favorite quote and word of the day? Any interesting article or books that I might have read? This idea of around like internal locus of control. That's probably something I'm going to cover in like a future video. Control your physical and emotional diet. Right. Well, that's one thing I'm doing these days, which is that and this is not, I'm not trying to like virtue signal and be like, oh, you should get rid of social media. No, that's not what it is. I think that everything in the right quantity and portion is great, especially during a time when you're locked at home and you're not going out much. So I think social media is a great way to connect with friends and family and also learn about what's happening in the world. So the idea is control your physical and emotional diet. What does Confucius say? That, show me your friends and I'll show you your future, something like that. The people that you follow on social media, be it Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, blah, blah, blah. I'm not doing a very aggressive reduction in social media. What I'm trying to do is control the kind of content that comes my way. So I'm kind of staying away from like political stuff, a lot of negative news, and just trying to focus on people who are producing content around like productivity, startups, business, design, positivity. And I feel like every time now I open up Twitter for even like 15-20 minutes, I get like a nice burst of positivity and I'm like, oh, okay. So I look at it for like, and I try to also control the amount of time I spend on social media. I have like these slots during the day, which is like 15 minutes here, maybe 15 minutes later in the afternoon, sprinkled out throughout the day. I'm going to do this over a period of time. And then I think I should also share my screen time. By sharing my screen time, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, or putting my time in. Okay, I don't know. And keep you posted. So that's daily update number 1 is not only control what you're putting in your mouth. So when you go to basically, I think one of the toughest things for me is from like one of my personal challenges is that, when I'm trying to reduce weight or get in shape and because I have a sweet tooth. So I'm like, if I see chocolate, if I see something like very sweet or savory, I jump at it. So what I try to do is basically when I go to the grocery store, I try to limit the stuff that I'm going to buy, which basically means is that when I'm hungry and I'm at home, I end up having either a smoothie or eating like dark chocolate or eating, proper food versus buying like chips and cookies and all that stuff. So by just kind of controlling some of those elements, that point of weakness when you're hungry, you have a very limited choice. So when you're hungry, you're going to be resorting to that food. Stopping the consumption of carbonated water was so hard. Now I feel pretty satisfied drinking like just regular water. Today's quote of the day that I saw on Twitter was, be ruthless in your standards and behaviors, but kind with your language. AKA say what you're thinking, especially in your client discussions. This quote is by Blair Enns. This guy, he wrote this book called Winning Without Pitching Manifesto. I'm actually reading that book on Audible right now. I would definitely follow this guy, especially if you're like in a creative agency and you are a creative or a business person. This guy is just full of great insights. And he also has a podcast, which is called Two Bobs. I listened to that podcast as well. Quote is beautiful because in a way he's saying that, be ruthless in what you're pursuing and the outcomes that you want, but be kind and gentle with your words so you can do it together with a whole bunch of people, unless you like just working alone. staying razor sharp focus, and you're ruthless about, the work that you want to get done, but you're kind and gentle with your team and your peers. At the same time, you're not shying away from saying the things that need to be said. This also kind of talks to like being candid and this candor around saying what's on your mind, but saying it in a way which is so gentle and so melodic and so sweet. When somebody's actually giving you this very candid feedback in this approach, where they're kind of ruthless, and they're ruthless in the sense of the points that they want to cover, but they're just doing it in such a gentle but like chocolate chip donut kind of way, you're like, okay, I actually want to listen to what this person has to say. Because one of the things that happens is, especially when you're working in a bigger team, is you get all this feedback and you can be defensive, and you also don't want to look stupid, and you kind of feel like your reputation is on the line. That's it. That's the quote for today.